back to Generation 9 live stream broadcast of the Arnold Classic 2017. We have the overall champion, Cedric McMillan. Man, I mean, long road. Welcome to the party.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the party. Before I allow Kai and this beautiful young lady, Trish, have their questions, I want to just say, hey, man, it's been an honor to watch you grow up over the years, to have our private conversations and texts going back and stuff. And to see you come to fruition on stage and to bring the package that you did. Not only bring the package you did, to command the stage from the beginning to end. I mean, you took your time in your posing. You're very confident in your posing, and in between the transitions and everything, the posing round, you just completely, I thought, just commanded the entire stage the whole time. And then the finish, as Steve just said, your speech was just impeccable. I mean, are you going to be running for office anytime soon? But congratulations, brother.
Yeah, I think you said what everybody wishes they would say, you know, so
Yeah.
good job.
In terms of, everything coming into fruition, I'll tell you, man, I can remember being 195 pounds and thinking I was a giant and going to compete, and then turning pro and everything changes, and now you're starting all over again, and you second guess and question everything about yourself, and all I could do is go by what I hear, the word on the street, what you hear. And so I do shows, and his conditioning needs to be this, and his legs and his arms. So I go home and I work on that. And try to fix that. I end up making myself paranoid, like, well, if they say my conditioning wasn't good enough, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to do 3 hours of cardio. I ain't going to eat no carbs. They say I'm just lazy because of my genetic. I'm going to show them I ain't lazy. Okay, and to speak, in very plain and simple terms, I wanted to try to be ready to step on stage 4 weeks out, because 4 more weeks after that and you ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's what was happening. I'm ready to step on stage 4 weeks out, and then 4 more weeks and I'm depleted, like depleted to the point of no return. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by the time I get to the show, and try to drop water and stuff like that and eat, you need 10 days of eating to come back from that, right?
Right.
And so what we did is we would always, let's see how this works here. Let's see how that works. We'll go to the next show. We'll try this. And people say, damn, every other show he go to you don't know what you're going to get. but we had a long-term goal and a long-term plan, and I was steadfast to that, and at one point I got so annoyed with the noise. I got so annoyed with the noise that I turned the shit off, like I don't even care what people say no more.
Right.
And Chris told me this. He said, why do you give opinions that lack credibility so much power?
Right.
He said, and because I would tell him, I talk to Kai or I talk to Flex. He said, don't you think them guys know what they talking about? So why you worrying about what some kid on the internet that ain't never even did it before? What you worrying about what he say for? So and at that point, man, and like I said, fighting with anxiety and having to go to the hospital because I'm just in overload. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what's going on with me? Why is my body breaking down? They can't find nothing wrong. Oh, it's because you put so much stress on yourself, mental and emotional stress.
Yeah.
And when you combine that with the physical stress of cardio and training and diet, it just be too much, right? And and at that point, I said, you know what? F it.
Bunk all that.
Forget it. But what I'm gonna do is just do me.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Chris sent me a picture. It was a few months ago. He sent me a picture of a progress pic from way back in 2013. And I said, man, when was this? I look so big in this picture. I ain't never been, because I was paranoid about condition. You know what I'm saying? He said, yeah, this was back in 2013. You went to the Arnold and you placed such and such. You got beat, but look at how you look, And right then, I said, you know what? I'm going back to that. I'm gonna try to get big, and try to maintain my lines. That's what I was doing originally.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But I changed the game up, paranoid about conditions.
Listening to everybody else.
But hey, I took a moment of silence from the internet. I just tried to live normal life, take care of my kids, get to the gym, go to work, do my thing, right? And I believe the lack of noise that took care of that emotional and,
Roller
and
coaster.
psychological piece that took care. And I think that allowed my body to progress even more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just, man, I kept growing. And I was, look here, man.
You're still growing.
I had I had 2 high carb days last week, and I was 289. And I said, man, I'm usually 260, a week out from a show, right? So I said, I got something for their ass now. You know what I'm saying?
Does that start to make you, when you see yourself that far ahead of the game and that much heavier, does it cause you to be able to start kind of just relaxing a little bit? Because day after day after day, it gets better. It gets better. Do you find any comfort in that?
Absolutely
Right.
not, because I find something else to worry about. Because then I say, because then I say, oh man, I got all this size, but I don't see some detail that I seen last year. Hey, well, guess what? You know why you seen that detail? Because you was flat as a pancake. You know what I'm saying? So it took me. I had to just say, I'm not gonna worry about it, Chris. Whatever you say, you know what I'm saying, and just realize that. Look, I can make decisions for my son,
Right.
or my daughter, or what's best for my family. But when it comes to this sport and looking at yourself, in a superficial way, and really understanding what it is that you see, truly understanding what it is you see, sometimes you had to just give that up,
Yeah.
and let somebody with what do you call it, an objective eye?
Yeah.
You had to give it up to somebody else, let them see it.
Because
you know
we
what
have a
I'm saying?
distorted vision about it.
Well, look, we got body dysmorphia. That's what we got. You know what I'm saying? We got it. Real talk, we got it. That's what we got. That's what we
sure.
got. That's what we got.
For sure.
Yeah.
Got a Dr. Phil moment up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kai, what do you think about this young man?
Man, you know what? It is just amazing to see you step into your own. This has been a long time coming. A lot of people have forecast this for years.
Yeah.
Ever since the first time we got a chance to see Steve Bleckman sneak peek shots of you maybe more than 7 years ago as a star coming up, someone to watch for. So it's really, really, really refreshing and good to see you triumphant tonight. And we know that this is not something that is to be taken for granted. That trial and error period that you just got finished talking about is real, and we've seen you struggle through it, and everyone gets a chance to come up tonight, by seeing you overcome and step into your greatness tonight. This was good. This is a really good thing.
Yeah, one thing I want to make sure everybody understands is that, a victory like this is not for me. This victory is for what I represent. And what I represent is, what I believed in and what I had love for when I started. Looking at y'all, y'all jokers, man, body's so pretty. Everything just perfect. People loving bodybuilding. Look, man, y'all used to wear singlets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
With no underwear.
Hey. Look, not only singlets, but them leotard socks.
Right,
Them
right.
Big joint.
Yeah.
Frills on them.
Yeah.
But guess what? Everybody loved you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you look good. People could recognize the beauty in your physique, And I said, I want to take bodybuilding back to that. So, whereas, some people would take a night like tonight and say, yes, this is my victory. For me, it is, y'all fuck around. This is one step closer back to making bodybuilding what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to knock modern 2017 bodybuilding. That is just, look, the way Cedric bodybuild is Cedric's bodybuilding. And I can represent what the hell I want.
That's right.
And I
Absolutely.
choose to represent that era.
Right.
And guess what? Look, man, when you present people with a choice, there hasn't been a choice for a long time. And when you present people with a choice, they can say, man, you look different from everybody else. But you know what? I kind of like that.
Right.
And then it grows.
Right.
Everywhere you look now, you see aesthetic this, aesthetic that, golden era this. Where that stuff come from? You know, that stuff wasn't here 2009 when I turned pro. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make y'all remember, and I want to make y'all look. Here's the thing: don't discount what's happening now, because that is, that is something that is unique and special in its own way. But what I want to make sure that you do is that you appreciate what got us here. Man, you see how big this arena is?
Right.
If bodybuilding wasn't all that 20 years ago, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
If Arnold wasn't doing what he was doing, we wouldn't be here. So we got to stop. And people say, Arnold ain't got no leg. Yeah, and I want to put you in the headlock.
Right.
And shake you like a pit.
Well, you
know
know
what I'm
what? 9
saying?
times out of 10, people who are saying that, they haven't achieved nothing anyway. You know what I mean? So they got to pick people down. But, as far as you emulating, what I done and what Kai has done and everything, bro, I mean, I think you're carrying the torch forward. And it's an honor to be able to see you up there. I remember when Lee Haney stepped out on stage and said, this kid here could be the next Mr. Olympia. And you still have that potential, man. I think you're still growing. I told Kai that, hey, man, this dude said he's 20 pounds heavier than he did last year. And he's like, ain't no way possible.
Did you see the 20 pounds?
Yes, I did.
And what you said when you seen it?
Damn.
And what you said, Kai?
I said, damn, too.
For sure.
I said it's unrealistic, but my God, do you see him tonight?
Every bit of it was there.
I believe it. But you know what, too, there's a lot to be said for the process that you talked about. The second guessing and those things that happen when the pressure is on. It's one thing to try to do something and it's your first time doing it, and maybe your second time doing it, but there's something to be said for when people start to recognize you, when they start to see your promise and they start to hold you to a higher expectation to deliver on that promise. And sometimes that can act as the double-edged sword that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Well, you know what? This is something that I realized too, some people get into this sport, they ain't got no shoulders, they ain't got no legs, whatever body part missing, it's a weak area, right? And guess what? Them weak body parts don't come up in a year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, guess what? Conditioning is an area that can be a weakness, a genetic weakness for you. Overall size, gaining that overall size from the amount of food you eat and how heavy you train could be a genetic weakness that somebody have. How your body responds to the dieting process could be a genetic weakness.
Sure.
Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is, as a competitive bodybuilder, some of us need more than just muscle maturity. Every aspect of what we do needs maturity. You know what I'm saying? And every aspect of what we do can be a weakness from one individual to the next. So where, some people can say, if he would just work his ass off like such and such, he would be, but you don't even understand that he looked like an asphalt pavement, but he ain't done nothing special. That's just a genetic blessing that he got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we only look at he got good genetics because body parts around, good shape, small waist, that's it. But everything about us and how we look physically is controlled by genetics. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so what I realized is, I might be trying to push myself faster than my body is going to let me go. And so instead of trying to do that, what I'm going to do is ease up off that gas a little bit, quit breaking myself down, and just be willing to take the time that it needs for my body to mature properly in this conditioning area.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, okay, so I ain't got deep striated glutes right now, but I guarantee you in 3 years,
Laying
they'll be
groundwork.
a little bit deeper and a little bit more striated than right now. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And that's what it's all about. But people think, stick to your diet and do a whole bunch of cardio, and that's but that don't work like that for
Don't work
everybody.
Everybody's different.
Listen, I want to say, closing this out and letting you go and eat because I'm sure you're ready to eat. Congratulations.
And
on the
drink.
Yeah,
I
for
I
sure.
see your lips, bro. I know you're dry.
definitely.
I know you're dry.
Ashy
Really.
I know you're dry.
We
I
just
need
want
my
to congratulate you, man. Thank you
Absolutely.
for taking the time to come out and speak with us. Enjoy your victory. Thank you for blessing us with some of this wisdom that you
Absolutely.
have. And the 50 Shades of Gray for my boy here who just laid down. And congratulations to Cedric. All right.
Congrats, Cedric.
First of all, I want y'all to know I'm a very smart individual.
For sure. We didn't say that.
Hey, real talk. Guess what? See, he cool with me now, but I won the nationals 2009. Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, and Kevin LeVron was on stage to interview me. And they come on up here, young brother, we need to do your interview. And before they started, I said, look, I just wanted to take this moment to say thank y'all for what y'all done, because y'all laid the pavement down for what I'm able to do, and I appreciate, and this how they was looking at me. Okay, anyway, let's do this interview real quick. And I said, you know what? I said, okay. I said, I got it. But next time we talk, they gonna doggone feel something when they talk to me.
And you did that.
Yeah, for sure.
You
Definitely
did that in
a real way.
spades.
Yeah.
On behalf of Generation Iron, Trish, Mr. Get It Done, 2017 Arnold Classic champion Cedric McMillan, Generation Iron, we're out. Thank you.